Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Dorley, and we're live at the World of Wellness with the one and only, the godfather of nutrition. But obviously, he's not the star today.
No.
I'm definitely not the star, but she is the lovely and talented Dr. Ashley Rozzi. Thanks so much for making time for us. You're so busy. It's the first time we got her on the show. So welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
So you
having me.
got a water. Is this big enough? I think
It's never big enough.
Wow. You're very thirsty. But she also has a little sample. This is a vegan shake.
Yeah.
And that's a cafe chocolate frappe mocha latte.
Ooh.
So you like it?
It's delicious.
Oh, there we
and
go.
It's definitely like hits the spot, right? It's satisfying and sweet. It has just the best of both worlds and enough protein in it to maintain that lean body mass.
There we go. Just like me and Joe.
Lean body.
Sweet as can be, right?
I'm rocking the reds and greens here. Mix the little mix.
Yeah, and I got a little double chocolate whey protein, so we're good to go. We got all the different bases covered.
Yes.
We're live. You can come down today for the Wine of Wellness Week. Joe and I had the privilege of working with the one and only international icon, Dr. James Weiner, for over 20 years.
Yeah, we did.
So in honor of Doc, we continue the Wine of Wellness Week at the World of Wellness. So you come down and participate live. We are open until 5 tonight. And all day tomorrow on a Saturday. I know we're working Saturdays. So we will be here all day tomorrow. And we got a lot of things to participate with. And I know you do some Zyto testing.
Yeah.
So you doing that tomorrow?
I am. So, and the book's filling up pretty fast. So if you are interested, we're doing mini Zyto scans. So it's a great way to see what your body's lacking. And you can come in and have a mini consult for about 15 minutes.
Because as a naturopathic doctor, I know you always focus on not so much the cure, but the cause.
Exactly.
And the Zyto, Joe describes it as a way to help identify some of the causes. So what are some of the common things you may see that people have been diagnosed with?
So I will see a disrupted gut, right? Because it'll look at the gastrointestinal system. And there are many times I'll see food sensitivities on there. I could tell instantly because of what's going on in the lymph and the respiratory. We could see the hormonal endocrine system, how well someone's sleeping, sleep patterns, if they're eating before bed, if it's disrupting their sleep and what they're eating. So all kinds of good things.
So that's one of the advantages of technology uses, that you can identify some of the causes that often are missed out on, right?
Oh yeah, a big one is I can see if someone's hydrated or not, because they will think they're drinking enough.
We know some people are hydrated.
Yeah, some people are. And it gives you, I mean, as soon as the next day, like something you did yesterday will show up on the Zyto for the reaction, right? We know we did that with me.
If you ate a meal, well, yeah, that was interesting. So you pulled for iron.
Yeah.
And but come to find out, you had eaten gluten that day.
Joe, say it ain't so, Joe.
It was organic gluten.
Oh, here we go with the organic.
But
gluten is gluten.
But it inhibits iron
It's
absorption.
like the kind that says organic cookies. Aren't they still cookies out there, Rozzi?
Still cookies.
I mean, we got to be careful with this, gluten-free. Isn't that true? Because I think sometimes people, they want to make the changes, but now they just hear that one buzzword. I think the naturopath approach, which I've always been taught by you guys and girls, is that it's more than just one thing. It's a web of health. Can you explain that a little bit? Because people are so used to that diagnosis, the medicine that's going to fix it. Inevitably, it doesn't.
Right. And then they hear those buzzwords, like you said, which is that whole diet culture. And they think, okay, well, I'll just do this because that's what I'm seeing on my favorite social media influencer, right? Like the avocado toast is a big one. And you see it all over where avocados are great, but it doesn't mean that combination's great for everybody else. And medicine does that, treats the symptom, right? But there's a cause of what's going on, and it never usually starts with what that person is.
And it's not always one thing, right? It could be a combination of things where it's 2, 3, 4 things, and that's enough to put you over the edge.
Right, exactly. It's usually a combination, and by the time something's bad enough, it started a while back, and it doesn't sometimes always seem like they're even related.
Well, let's talk about some of the success, because that's why people come. They want success. My family has shared success with your program. I came home one day, Philly Phil, for a business trip, and I realized my wife had met with Dr. Ashley. She didn't stop there, of course.
No.
She went right to the grocery store. I came home, I opened the fridge, I thought I stumbled in the wrong
You
house.
sent me the picture.
Yeah, immediately. I was like, did you see this?
I was proud. I was so proud.
It was awesome because she helps people, make changes right away.
Yeah.
So the fridge was stocked with all organic. She did the meal preps. It was wild. And she's continued to do so. Right?
Yeah, and because once you learn, and that's what I'll do is I'll give clients like different food options for things they like, but healthier options. So I'll tell them where to get it in the store. It's, I make it really easy because I want to see them successful.
Yeah, you did a great video on shopping. What supermarket was that?
Oh, we went to Whole Foods.
My favorite, of course.
Yeah, you know what? You could just find everything there, and it just makes it so convenient.
What are some of the pitfalls that you see, people have issues with when they're trying to change their diet? What are a couple of things that you say, okay, those are very common mistakes. What can we do to change it?
So some of the big pitfalls is trying to change too fast, too soon, right? Because you are going to go through a period of detox or not setting yourself up for success, going without food, starving, and then you're so hungry, you're going to eat anything you see in sight. And that just creates, and then you feel defeated because you ate the wrong things, because you're hungry. Really, like, to be healthy, and the success of any program is really preparation, right? So prepping your food or having options in the house, good go-tos, so you're not starving. Because when you're starving, then the body's going to start storing fat anyway.
Too late. The car pulls into the drive-through. You got a couple of Big Macs or donuts. This is very common.
It is,
Big Macs.
Well, I see these cars wrapped around the building at them.
I know they are.
And I know the temptation is there for a lot of people. The other morning I went in to get a coffee before my workout at Dunkin' Donuts because the line was around the block. And I'll be honest, those donuts were talking to me.
Yeah,
the Boston cream was saying, "It's okay, nobody's gonna see
Were
it."
you hungry when you went?
Well, I'm always hungry. What hunger has nothing to do with it, Joe. I mean, I can eat any time, right? It's the Italian part of me. I think a lot of cultures are like that. You can just eat, right? When you're a little kid, if you win the game, we're gonna get ice cream.
Right, we eat as a reward.
You get 2 ice creams.
We gotta grieve when you eat.
And you go to an Italian's house, forget about it. The refrigerator's coming out onto the table.
So I faced temptation. I said, I don't need these.
Right.
So I took a couple of deep breaths. I said a quick prayer. I grabbed the coffee. I told the girl to keep the change. Her eyes popped out of her head, right? It's like a $5 tip. I said, I'm leaving. I don't need anything else. And I ran out the door. So you got to be careful, right? I was watching this thing with Lee Haney. He was a world famous bodybuilder and a true gentleman of the sport, faith-based guy, family guy. And he was in an interview, and he's a Southern guy. He's got that big draw and really big smile. And they says, Lee, how come you never got in trouble all these years? He goes, I am not that strong. He says, God is strong. He says, but I don't put myself in situations to get in trouble.
Right. Right.
He said, so I'm not going to be out to dinner with a woman. I'm not going to be tempting myself with food. He says, I know better. Don't put yourself in those spots. So what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Like, that's key. If you're going to go to a restaurant that you see your favorite meal, but it's not good and it's going to ruin all the success you've had because you're early in the protocol, don't do it. Go somewhere different where you can get something that you can stick to the diet. And this is the thing. When I create protocols, I make it very easy to go out to eat with people. So it's because you don't want to stop socializing. How many diets are out there where you feel like you can't socialize? You have to stay at home. So I make it that it's because, for me, food, I love food. And it is very important to have that and socialize.
In a social environment, make it fun too. Man, we got a lot of people here. You have a question in the front row? How many cups of coffee? Depends on the day. So today, 2. Some days more. Some days 1. But just depends on the day and what's going on.
I have organic coffee. We have it here. We'll use organic. But I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever finished a cup of coffee. If it's not hot, I can't drink it.
I know. I like it really
I might drink a half a cup 3 times.
So it's like 1.5 cups.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I always tell people, if you want to have a cup of coffee, it should be before you work out. That's all. If you do 1 cup a day, great. I don't put any of the creamers in and artificial flavorings. No, I'll use the shake. I'll use the keto shake because that's a good way. So can you talk about that a little bit? Because I think sometimes people think, like she said, all black, right? It's like, what are some things people can do so that this becomes part of their lifestyle, not, hey, I'm being punished.
Okay. That's a huge, I have so many thoughts on that.
Take a deep breath.
First of all, so for the coffee, for example, people who come to my house for my coffee, I make really good coffee, but I'll put for me, I love putting the peanut butter super shake in my coffee.
And the peanut butter super shake. Hey, now I didn't never even try that.
Now you love peanut butter. And you've never put it in your coffee.
No.
I'm telling you, it's so good, and it holds you. So I blend it. You got to hit with the blender. So I love the peanut butter and the super shake. The keto shake's great. So I had a client, he works very long hours. He's not taking a break to eat. So I put him on the keto shake. I'm like, we have to get you good fats, because fats are the building block for all your hormones. You know, we talked earlier, your brain's 80% cholesterol. You need the good fats. Fat's amazing, especially even for older people who aren't getting enough.
Especially, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Brain breakdown over the period of time. So it's interesting, you know, a lot of times people go to programs, they go to 12 weeks, you know, before they start to see results. But I know you're able to at least help my wife and some other people make changes right away.
Yes.
To the point, Joe, she was educating me.
Oh.
I said, I'm never aware of that. Thank you for
Jamie, she's been educating you know, your whole time together. This is the first time you listened.
First time I knew what she was talking about. I said, all right, this is my background. All right, I'm ready for you. So, but she was really excited. Look, I'll give her credit, and I really appreciate what you did for her. And I'm using her as an example because she is what I consider a typical mom, right? That kind of got off course over time. She looked at exercise and those things as a punishment. And she even said, like, I don't want to go. So today she's like, aren't you going to the gym?
Because when you start to feel better, you want to do. And that's it. And it shouldn't be a punishment. You shouldn't deprive the body. Somewhere along the line in diet culture, it became you have to punish, you have to suffer for the success. But that's not true when it comes to eating. You know, there are ways you need to feed and nourish your body. And my clients are eating all day long, every 3 hours, the ones that can. And for the ones that can't, we have other things like the keto shake we put in there so they're not starving. Because when you get into starvation mode, your body's going to start holding on, storing fat, saying, hey, I can't let go of this fat because I need to survive.
So you're accepting new patients. How do people schedule with Dr. Ashley, Joe?
Boy, it's really easy. If you don't know this number by now, write it down. Do you have a pen and paper?
Okay, Doc.
412-922-9355-922. Well, give us a call. Get on the schedule. If you're coming in for Wellness Week, get on the schedule.
So you have availability today, right?
I
so
do.
People want to pop in. I'm going to try and lock the doors and keep her here today, Joe. And then tomorrow you're offering free Zyto testing. How do they participate in that, Joe?
Well, you know what? We have a list. Get on the list because you can only do so many. Again, give us a call. Stop in. Get on the list. 412-922-9355. I sound like one of those commercials. They keep repeating the phone.
Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddie.
So everything is on sale this week. We have the Wellness Week. We have free healthy organic food out front. We have all different types of smoothies, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can combine it with coffee. You can replace the coffee. You know, you can do it together. We have a lot of treats in the kitchen. A lot of people here.
We have a cooking demo me and Holly are doing tomorrow at noon for a no-bake, healthy sugar cookie.
Oh, wait. Say that again.
A no-bake, healthy sugar cookie. So if you are in the area, stop
Using
down.
Swerve?
Using Swerve.
Okay. As the sugar. Okay.
And protein powder is going to be in it. But stop down. Holly's a phenomenal baker. So I'm really going to be your sidekick. I'm not. She's doing all the hard work.
That's a dynamic duo, Joe. I will stay out of the kitchen. They say too many cooks spoil the broth.
That's right.
So me and Joe will stay on this side of the counter.
You can taste test.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
You know, love the taste test.
That's tomorrow's workshop at noon.
So tomorrow's a great day. It's Saturday, December 11th tomorrow. We're going to be open all day. We got free Zyto testing. We got the workshops going on. We have some special guests coming on tomorrow. Paul Neville, trainer. He was voted. He's a friend of mine since we were this big. He's only about this big now, but Paulie's one of my guys. He was voted world's greatest trainer by Metrics and about 20 years ago. So he got the full treatment. He's had success stories. I don't know how many people he's had lose over 100 pounds.
Wow.
And he trains elite athletes, and he's going to talk about the different types of diets out there, right?
Oh, nice.
Because you hear all these different things. What's the advantages of one program versus what do you do at the beginning, middle, and the end, right?
Right. And there's so much out there. Like when I work with clients using therapeutic diets and that's the thing. It's not sometimes it's not a lifestyle. You're doing it to fix a certain problem, and then you start introducing other foods, and you should be able to handle the foods if, the body's recovering and repairing the way it should be.
That's a great point. People look at me, they know I've struggled over the years with weight, Back then, Joe, was so long ago, they didn't call you fat, they'd say stocky, right? Husky. I said, Mom, doesn't that mean fat? Shut up. Still here in my head. So husky, like there was every word, my first nickname was Tank, but then over the years I realized when I went to Slippery Rock and my first professor she was really good, Dr. Marcy Leeds. She was really into nutrition, ride a bike around campus, and she taught me that the diet can actually change your body. And I was in shock. This was new to me. So, people look at you, they would say, oh, she's got lucky, all genetics, you don't got to worry about. Well, can you share a little of your story? Because I don't think people would believe it if they looked at you, but if you tell it, maybe they will.
Yeah, I was very heavy as a little kid. I always loved food. That has not changed. I still love food. It's just I love different food now. And yeah, I was very, very heavy when I was little. And yeah, I struggled. I mean, it definitely was not something that came easy. But when I was little, they just called you fat.
It was right after my generation, yeah.
And it
wasn't PHAT. It was
yes. Sure. And it was awful being especially as a little girl, you want to wear the same clothes your friends wear, and you can't. And I just didn't want to be like that. And that really set my journey. So when I was 11 years old, I started reading. What do you know? You know fat, right? Like calories and fat. And that was the big when SnackWells came out, was real popular. And healthy choice. Yes. So
the fat-free diet. Remember what happened to the country?
Yeah, it got fat.
Yeah, that was it. They took all the fat out and everybody got heavier, and more gym memberships sold, and we were heavier than we've ever been. And so that started me reading it. But then as I got into high school, I would think I had to starve to lose. And that is just simply not the case. And it causes damage to your body over long periods of time of doing that.
Yeah, and it's never too late, right? I don't care what you look like or your genetics. We've had people lose. I think the biggest one was that guy, Danny, 218 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And his wife lost 100 pounds,
That's
right?
Wonderful.
Just by doing our shake and then our low or no processed food.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
It's amazing, right? Because your body knows what to do with it. When you give your body the right nutrients, I always say, let's look at the gut, right? What's the gut doing? Are you absorbing what you're eating? So let's heal the gut. And then as you heal and start absorbing nutrients, the body fat starts coming off, because excess body fat is just a side effect of, something else going on. And you hear me talk about it all the time, Joe. You're probably
never gets old. Nope.
And that's what, my one client, she's 74 years old, struggled with weight her whole life. This is the first time she's eating real food and losing weight. She's down 44 pounds. She's 5 away from her goal.
Wow, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's all her. And she said, I can't believe how easy this. She goes, I can get off and get right back on and drop weight. So, and that's what it really is. It's just once you.
And what period of time this is? Because I know it took her years to gain the weight. Everyone wants to lose it immediately.
She started with me in April.
Oh,
so
that's not long at all.
But then I get messages all the time from other clients. I'm down 10 pounds. I wasn't even trying. I'm down 15. I'm like,
but this is sustainable weight loss.
Oh, yeah.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. I think when you have that metabolic shift, right? Yeah. Remember, folks, we used to always think it took weeks or months to change your metabolism. We found now one meal.
Exactly.
Because food is information. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because you may not get those 70 pounds off in a meal, but you get the body to start burning.
Right. So as soon as you eat, you awaken certain bacteria in your gut. You either awaken the good bacteria or bad bacteria. And if you have more bad guys, it's going to want more bad food so it can survive. But what is that going to cause? It's going to cause a gut dysbiosis, a leaky gut. It's going to cause inflammation. So have you ever eaten a meal and you look like 5 to 10 pounds heavier? It's like, what just happened
right after one meal, right?
It's interesting you bring that up. I was just talking to someone this morning. I says, it all starts with the probiotics.
Absolutely.
I said, for me personally, if I don't do superbiotics every morning, I do notice in about a week my stomach's bloated and my pants are tight. I'm like, what did I do?
That's a lot of my clients say that, and I'm the same way. I stay on that.
So can you explain a little deeper about, because I notice when I have these bad bugs, candida or yeast, they crave a lot of sugars. It makes you a little crazy.
It does. And it can actually, because your gut bacteria regulates your prefrontal cortex. So those neurological symptoms are literally you're actually having symptoms because of the bacteria in the gut, and there's too many bad ones that are there. And so people think they're craving the food and they're not. It's actually
It's the bad bugs.
So you have to starve them out. So there is a period of being uncomfortable, but it's very short-lived, because with each meal, like you said, you either awaken or you start to begin to starve them out. So you can really change your gut bacteria with each meal you eat.
And take a few seconds. Like I had that experience the other day, and I'm just being transparent because I'm human too, right? When I took a deep breath, I said, am I really? And I says, I'm not hungry for those things. I think the smell and the sensory and the habit of walking in there would get people to say, well, I'm just going to do it today.
Exactly. But
I really asked myself, and I said, no, I'm not even craving this. So I was able to go right through it. Joe, talk about all your research on the gut being the second brain, because this is tying right into what you're
and I love the term that Ashley has applied to it, functional digestion. That's a great term, and it really hits home, because for years people thought, why, as I follow my gut feeling. What is a gut feeling? Well, the thing is, they've found now over the last 6 to 10 years that there's something called the gut-brain connection. This is your microbiome. Your microbiome doesn't just sit in your gut. It goes all the way up to the brain via something called the vagus nerve.
Right.
And that's where the transmission is going back and forth. And we now know that some of the neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, they're produced more in the gut than they are in the brain.
Almost 100%.
Yeah,
almost 100%,
50,
95%.
Yeah, 50% of dopamine, and almost it's like 98.9% of serotonin.
Of serotonin. So when you have a gut feeling, that's exactly what it is. It's your gut-brain connection. It's these neurotransmitters that are trying to tell you something. You got to listen.
Well, I love your approach, because there's so many things going through my head. But before we jump any further, let's remind everyone we're live at the World of Wellness. We have the lovely and talented Dr. Ashley Rozzi. She's a doctor of naturopathic medicine, personal trainer, and fitness extraordinaire. She helps educate you on making the positive changes you need, right? So that you can get through some of these plateaus, or even some of these mental barriers where you may not think you can do it, right? You got to visualize, and I think that's where you help my wife especially, visualize getting the success, right? Enjoying the shopping in the process, right? And that's such a key component. So she's accepting new patients down at the Wellness Center. It's really simple, easy, and super inexpensive. And she's doing some free testing tomorrow on the Zyto on Saturday the 11th. All you need to do, Joe, is what?
Give us a call. Get that number up on the screen, Phil. 412-922-9355. There it is. Give us a call. Get scheduled as soon as possible. Don't wait. The longer you wait,
it's filling up. So
it's filling up.
But
fast.
It's a great way to
you
get
want to
in
see
and
the
try
results. The faster you get in here, the faster you're going to see the results.
And don't wait till January.
Right.
It's Can you talk about that? Because I think people are waiting, and they're only going to get worse. Right?
Yes. Have a game plan going into the holidays for when you're done, because what's going to happen is January is going to come, you're going to be behind, there's going to be leftovers in the house. So having that game plan is really crucial in the success.
Leftovers in your house? What's a leftover?
There is, because there's only one kid left.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's me that eats them all, especially any kind of protein. That's the hardest food for me. It's not convenient, it's a little more expensive, and it's hard to transport. So that's why I do the shakes a lot. But there's not a whole lot of leftovers going on. But one of my tips that we use, and we did it last night, we had a little get together for our clients locally, and hey, I didn't have dessert, right?
You didn't have Holly's cookies?
I brought dessert to share at the table, so it technically wasn't mine. And I didn't finish any one piece, so we did split a little cake at the table, a little half a cookie. So it's a little more enjoyable.
That's a great way to do it. Because then you don't feel bad having it. Like
so if you're at a restaurant, that's what you order, a dessert with 4 or 5 forks. How many people are at the table? And then just share it.
And then you're not in sugar coma overload.
And you don't have all that, like, I'm trying to finish all this. And we had a couple clients in from Florida and Brazil last week, and the doctor from Brazil says, I love doing this sharing. I was like, I said, well, you didn't have dessert. You just shared a little bit. She did get a couple more bites of the tiramisu, but I know that's her favorite. We got that especially for her. But she's a sweetheart. But it was the enjoyment of it. I think sometimes in the world we're such in a rush
Yeah.
to eat because we're starving and
Yeah.
we're stressed.
Hmm.
Talk about that stress component, because now more than ever, I notice that for a lot of people, including myself, like if I'm really stressed, I'm like, some people don't eat, but a lot of people eat.
I eat.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm a stress eater. I'm a happy eater, sad eater, stress eater. But yeah, like, have you ever noticed this? I mean, even the audience, when you're under a lot of stress and you instantly walk into the kitchen, open the fridge, you're like, what am I doing right now? Yeah, because, well, first of all, when we are stressed, where do we feel? We feel in our gut. That's where it starts. So what do we want to do? We want to soothe. So food is comforting and soothing. And also, it's a way of procrastinating something we don't want to do by eating.
Oh, it's interesting. So we're putting off something we got to do because
Yeah.
we want to eat.
Sometimes, yeah, especially if something that stresses you out, you're not looking forward to making that phone call, or you're not looking forward to just leaving to go do, anything. We can tend to go and start mulling around the kitchen and just kind of a way to delay certain things.
I've never been a stress eater. I'm a happy eater.
You're not a stress eater? If
No,
you're
I'm
stressed,
always
you don't.
happy.
I'm a happy eater,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
always happy, so I'm always eating.
So you're never stressed. What is your secret?
I do notice when you're in those modes, right?
Yeah.
It's a short-term thing, and sometimes it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
And you think, hey, if I eat that ice cream, you almost feel good.
Yeah,
Right. But
until right when you're done,
Yeah.
and it starts to hit the digestion, and you're like, "What did I do? What did I do?" Right?
So one of my
Yeah.
tips is don't have dessert at home.
No,
Right.
or if you're going to have something like what Holly makes with the
Yeah,
swerve and the protein, the
exactly.
cookies, or sometimes I'll have a shake as
And
my dessert.
That's a great way too to get a shake in if you don't want to have a smoothie and you want to eat something, is with those treats. So I love that idea.
Yeah, it's great, and you know what? And then you feel better. And so this is what's interesting about stress, right? So we gravitate towards foods that don't make us feel good when we stress, but we can't. It makes the stress worse because we can't think clear. It just makes so it's amazing. We kind of self-sabotage, right? We go,
absolutely.
yeah. It's like going to something to make you happy, but it's just short-lived, and then
Well, a lot of the foods they've shown, especially dairy products, sugars, they're almost like a chemical to the brain.
yeah,
right?
well, like
They could-
specific cheeses have an opiate
Yeah.
effect on the brain.
Talk about that a little bit, because I think people, again, they're eating. Like I just said, I'm not hungry. I'm never hungry. I just eat, right?
Right.
A lot of people eat because of the way that it helps their mood.
Oh
Can you
yeah.
talk about that and,
Yeah.
and how do we get through that? Because I say, one's too many, 1,000's never enough, right?
Exactly.
I'm better off with none and sharing it with you guys or something, or my family, rather than going to eat it myself, because I know that even that little bit, it's just going to I'm going to crave more of it.
Yeah.
So I'm better off with none.
I'm with you on that one too. And because what happens when we eat that, when we eat, we actually start producing more dopamine. And dopamine's that really like feel good neurotransmitter. I mean, it's
Pleasure,
that,
right?
yes, it makes you want to get stuff done. I don't know. Have you ever eaten like zoned out, but you had all these great ideas while you're eating? Like, it's that dopamine stimulation.
Yeah, I got 200 products of it. I know all about it.
Did that happen in the kitchen?
Some of them, yeah.
I'll be like, that's such a great
Or a
idea.
hotel room. I'm like, nobody's around, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you start the dopamine and you get addicted to the dopamine. I mean, they did studies where they've taken mice, and I've talked about this pretty frequently, where they gave them cocaine water and sugar, and all of the mice went towards the sugar more over the cocaine, but both stimulate dopamine. So as humans, we gravitate towards feeling good.
But it's addicting. Sugar is
Very
Yeah, one of my
addicting.
presentations I'm working on for next year identifies the natural ways to increase brain chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Serotonin, dopamine, GABA, right? So pain and pleasure.
Yeah.
So one thing, what you can do, I say you can do some exercise.
Exercise is great
Right?
for it.
That's my way of
Probiotics.
getting that buzz. Yeah.
Specific probiotics. That's why I love the superbiotics, because
Oh,
it
okay.
feeds those good bugs that help with dopamine and serotonin and GABA and all of those. Eating fermented foods are amazing for.
So exercise, right foods, probiotics. Joe, what are some of the things you do?
There's something that I want to ask you about, and it's on this topic, and it's something that I've heard and I've tried it, and it actually does work. That when you get that feeling like, "What? I'm just so hungry, I got to eat," like a couple of nuts or a couple of grapes calms that feeling down. You don't need the bulk to get rid of that, that feeling, that neurotransmitter feeling. You just need a little bit of food, And if it's a grape, or if it's a cashew, a couple of things like that are whole foods and natural, it calms that feeling.
Because you're
And I've
getting the
used
right
that.
nutrients in, and your gut's probably absorbing everything.
And your body's saying, oh, okay, you ate. It's good. I'm done.
That's probably because you're balanced and eat. But somebody that has a dysbiotic gut, they're not absorbing it, so they'll want more and more. They try to
So I was
feed.
concerned with the grapes, especially, right? With fruit. So I'm thinking more some other things you can do. I think a great thing is like providing care for somebody or giving back.
Yeah. Well, they did a whole study on kindness and about how when you're kind to somebody else, how it makes you feel. It lifts your mood and improves. So when you do an act of kindness, there's a whole study. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, that's why my goals this year were giving and growing. I'm being serious because it does make you feel.
It does.
You know, we don't publicize these things, but we did help a local veteran this week, right? Got a few kids and he's had some hardships, and it feels good just to help, right?
It does.
Especially when you don't, like, I'm not one to run around and talk about all the things I've done that are good, because I think that sometimes it's ingenuine. And I get it if you own a big charity or something, but just giving to somebody or caring for a loved one without anything in return makes you feel good.
It does. It really does. And it's so rewarding. And if you just think about the times in your life when you're doing something as an act of kindness, you just are happier that day. You do.
Sometimes, and going back onto what I said, the act of chewing, if you just chew a Prozyme or chew a CoQ10 or chew something, it's going to satisfy that urge.
There's a couple of old school things for cravings in the old days when we were torturing ourselves to get in shape. So one was lemons or lemon water.
Yeah.
It takes away the sugar craving. Paulina and their girls, they're very into their look and their bodies, everything. They say brush your teeth.
That was Pamela Anderson said that. That's her.
There you go. I mean, all those girls, they would know, right?
And how many times is it that you're just thirsty and not hungry?
Oh, that's most of the time. You're dehydrated. Right? Yeah. Well, it's funny when you said this. I have to tell you, because I'm a little weird, so I made
a little.
I take the Power Cleanse and the lean greens and I make it real thick, and I eat it with a spoon, and it's the act of chewing.
There we go. It's great.
And it does. It feels like I'm eating a meal right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. We got some more questions. Let me see in the audience, one at a time.
Well, the earlier in the day that you eat something that's a carbohydrate, the better. So yes, and there's a whole school of thought that feels you should eat fruit on an empty stomach, so that it immediately metabolizes. So you can, but look, fruit is a great food. It's a whole food. And if you're going to eat it in place of a non-whole food, then great, eat it anytime.
Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of fruit by itself for breakfast because it is sugar. Now, you guys are in good shape, not a concern, hopefully, with blood sugar or weight. But I like to include the fruit in a smoothie or as a snack or as part of a meal. I like to have a balance with protein, good fats, fiber, and fruit. That's why I don't recommend juice for most people, because it doesn't have all the nutrients and fiber.
Yeah.
But I like fruit as a snack, maybe an hour before a meal.
Yeah,
right? Is that a good
exactly.
idea?
And also, too, building off what you just said, in the mornings, women, we do well with protein and fat. Yeah. So in the morning, really eating like a good source of protein and fat's really good. And then, but having that fruit an hour prior is...
That's a great point. I went off to eat with Paulina last time they were in town, and she's like Dr. Ashley, and she said protein and fat first thing in the morning, because you got to get your mind and your body to start burning fat. If you start with carbs, it's really hard to overcome that. It is,
because then you want more throughout the day. Yeah. Unless you're going and doing like some cardio. Yeah. It's that's all. But everybody's a little
There's a reason why you hear fruit and nut as a combination. Yeah. If you have a couple of nuts with some fruit, you're getting the protein, the fiber, and the fat, and then that's countering the sugar from the fruit.
Yeah, great question. Yeah. Thank you. So we're here live with Dr. Ashley Rozzi at the World of Wellness. It's the Wine of Wellness Week. We're here live till 5 o'clock tonight. She's accepting new patients as part of the team at World of Wellness, and she is doing free testing tomorrow on the Zyto. Yes. This incredible technology that can really zero in on the underlying causes of your health challenges and conditions. And tomorrow at noon at the bar, what's going on?
All right. So Holly and I are making no-bake healthy sugar cookies. And it's funny.
Holly cookies.
I looked at the ingredients. I'm like, ooh, and Holly's like, that's easy. I was like, that's a little overwhelming. But so you guys got to come down and try, because anytime Holly's making anything, it's delicious.
And they go quick.
No, they do.
Come on down. We'll do the Zyto testing. We'll give you free lunch, free dessert, free smoothies. So we're here to help you out. Of course, you buy anything that's on deep discounts. What if they can't make it, Joe? God forbid someone can't make it, and what do they do?
Gee, I think you better give us a call. What is that number again? 412-922-9355. Come on, Phil, get it up there. There you go. Give us a call. Go online. You can order online now, still get the discount, or you can just give us a call. We'll take your order. We'll ship it out, or we'll have it ready for you curbside, any way you want it. And we didn't stop there.
No, we did not. You can go through the website.
You can even fax it in.
Get the fax out of here, Joe. I mean, do people still have a fax machine?
Yes, they do. We're living proof of it. We still get faxes. Yeah.
Joe used to sell fax machines.
I did.
Oh, really?
When they first
the good
came
news
out.
was that when he sold one, the other person didn't have one, so you have to sell two.
You had to sell two.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, many times. Yeah. And have somebody to fax.
We want to have fun too, because one of the best ways to increase dopamine and serotonin is laughter.
Laughter.
Yeah.
Does everyone remember laughter?
Yes.
That's my favorite.
I know.
Yeah.
It is.
But
You gotta
people now
laugh.
are so stressed out. They're so focused on what's going to happen, what did happen, all the mistakes they made, all the stress about the future. I said, what about today?
Yeah.
There's a great verse, and I'm not a guy that's going to quote everything in the Bible, but it talks about, I actually learned this from Father Phil and some of the football players. They talked about wherever your feet is, your heart and your head have to be, right? So right now we're focused on here. We're not worried about next week or next month. And you got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit, because I think sometimes people their mind is so focused on other times that they don't even realize what they're doing.
Yeah, they're not even living in the moment. I mean, tomorrow will have enough worries of its own.
Oh, I
So
like that.
you have to stay present and just take on the day, day by day. Because that's what the Bible says, give us our daily bread. And that's exactly it. Just take it one day at a time. And it's always progress over perfection. If you strive for perfection, then you don't reach that, you self-sabotage. But if it's
you keep looking at me, Joe. Self-sabotage, perfection, everyone's laughing.
I just gravitate.
It's okay. It's okay.
All these phrases, these are great phrases she's just dumping on us.
Wait,
I'm going to take the 1 o'clock appointment to
Yeah.
Dr. Ashley. 1 and 2. I think I need 2 hours.
No, but it's so important. If you just make those little changes, those become lifestyle changes. I didn't get to where I'm at like overnight. It was definitely a long journey.
And it's not always A to Z straight line, right? It can be setbacks. It can be times you make more progress.
Right, because our bodies are always changing, and we're not even the same people.
And with success comes greater challenges. When I realized, like, a lot of foods I've been eating for years, like rice and potatoes and oatmeal, my body wasn't agreeing with it anymore. When I cut those out, the body changed. Talk about the food allergies the last few minutes, because that's something I think when people think of a food allergy, they think, oh, shellfish, I'm going to have anaphylactic, or peanuts. Right. Maybe there's a level 2 of the sensitivity.
It's food sensitivity. So it's interesting. So we know celiac disease, they're going to have a lot of gastrointestinal problems, but somebody with a gluten sensitivity is going to have more neurological issues. They'll still have bloating and discomfort, but it'll affect them more neurologically. So sensitivities are different. It can be from aches and pains. It can be sleep disturbances, headaches, a lot of mucus, phlegm, coughing, congestion. Have you ever eaten something and you got congested? You're like, whoa, what is that? If you start writing these things down, you'll start to see connections.
Right.
And sometimes you can have a food and there'll be you won't get a symptom for 3 days. It's a delayed sensitivity.
Or it's a chain reaction type of thing, like it was with the gluten and the iron.
Right.
With me, I didn't have a symptom of iron deficiency, but it showed up on the Zyto.
Yeah, because the gluten bound, inhibited iron absorption.
Inhibited iron.
So so then, but somebody who does that, you don't normally do that. So that was but someone who does that over long periods of time, they're going to show up that they're deficient in iron. But sensitivities, a lot of times someone comes in and they want to lose weight, but they have an inflammation issue. It's not really a weight issue because they're eating, and I'm not saying the foods are bad, but maybe they just don't agree with your body at that time.
Or like me, you've eaten them for 30 years.
Yeah, and you develop that later.
My son looked at it, he goes, tuna and rice, you eat that every day.
Yeah.
I used to do it when I was totally broke, was 3 times a day because you get the protein
Yeah.
and the carbs, right? So, I get about $4 a day, meals in, right? But your body eats those. You eat those every day for years. You
become malnourished. Yeah.
And your body gets tired of it. It becomes almost like a toxicity thing. So I remember Doc would always say, anything can cause anything. However, there's probably the top 5 or 10 foods. Can you share with us a little bit some of the most common food sensitivities you see?
Absolutely. Gluten for sure. Dairy.
Let's talk about, because gluten's not a food. What food is gluten in?
Okay, so like wheat, grains are
So bread. Okay.
Yeah.
Bagels, muffins,
tortillas, all of that. It's
wraps.
Wraps.
So veggie wraps.
Yeah.
They're all
I think a lot of people get confused there with wraps and
or the wraps will say veggie wraps, but they're made with wheat.
Yeah.
It's not really a veggie.
Spinach wrap, it's green.
Yeah.
So it's got food coloring in it.
Right.
They got me a couple times with that one. My hands are swollen. I was like, what is going on?
Right. That's a real symptom after. White potatoes actually can be really inflammatory.
That was one of my top ones.
White potatoes.
Baker's yeast.
Me too. Yeah.
And baked potatoes. Those are the highest scores.
Yeah, mine. How about I have turmeric and honey? I was so disappointed. I love both, but yeah, they. So those are some another things. You know, what's funny in gluten-free foods, a lot of them are made with corn, highly inflammatory. But there's ingredients in gluten-free. It's very common in gluten-free food. It's polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose, and a very small amount will instantly cause. And I teach clients that because that'll instantly disrupt the gut and cause leaky gut at a very small amount. You can't ingest.
So the most common foods are going to be breads of any kind, wraps. Dairy products.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And be careful of the gluten-free of here.
And salad dressings. Look, because there's hidden gluten and then there's bad oil, canola oil, sunflower oil. Yes, soy. Soy is a big one. Yeah, and that's in, oh my goodness, it's in mayonnaise. I mean, it's in everything. You have to read the labels.
Disguised a lot. So, so anything really in a package we got to be concerned with, right?
Yes.
And then you can even get more specific with Whole Foods, right?
Yeah. So you mean with saying with Whole Foods?
Yeah, so even some that's healthy for one person may not be for another person.
Like for me, I can't have honey, and honey's great for most people.
Well,
but...
you're sweet enough.
Is that it?
Honey, come on. But it could be anything. I remember a woman came in years ago to the wellness center. I think we were still on the south side, and she said to Dr. Weiner, "I can't eat anything." He said, "What do you eat?" She said, "The only thing I can eat is boiled chicken." He says, "Well, you're allergic to boiled chicken." And she goes, "Well, that's the only," he goes, "Come back," he tested, and sure enough, that's what she was allergic to. So it's almost, he would equate it to somebody who smokes a cigarette. The first time it makes them feel terrible. They get used to it, and then the detox out of it, they feel bad too. So what do you do when you identify those foods?
You have to remove them. Yeah, and you have to heal the gut. So there's a process, right? So instantly we have to heal the gut, right? We got to remove those foods and replace them with something else. And then we need to repair your gut.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because the first time I heard heal the gut, I'm thinking stomach, right? Not intestinal tract. And why do we need to heal it? What's happened to it?
So all illness and all disease begin in the gut. So, I mean, cancers begin in the gut, and you don't even realize it because it seems so far removed, because cancer is the end stage of disease. So it seems so far removed. But so healing the gut is keeping that intestinal barrier, that it's locked, right? So foods aren't seeping through, you're digesting everything, having enough enzymes. Where
seep through to?
They'll seep through into your bloodstream and cause toxins.
And then the immune system says, hold on, foreign invader, right? Turn on the immune system. So that's autoimmune.
Right, it's like a cytokine storm.
That's a real big part for us for next year, because we know that autoimmune is on the rise. The vaccinations and COVID are really just dramatically increasing the number of autoimmune conditions. And that's my background, because that's how I got into this. I was in sports nutrition, and I got autoimmune, right? So that's always been a foundation of what I talk about.
Yeah, and so that's where you learned how food drastically can improve or make symptoms worse of autoimmune.
Right.
Well, this is
Yeah.
fantastic. So thanks so much, Dr. Ashley. We have so many people that need your help. So we appreciate your blessing to our team and the community. All you need to do is what, Joe?
Give us a call, or come on, you know what? Come down. Don't give us a call. Come down here.
I've
We
been
want to
waiting
see
for this.
your face.
Joe, I'm like,
yeah, get down here. All right, we're here till 5 today.
Where
and
are we
tomorrow
located,
till
Joe?
5, 2419 Baldwin Road. You know what? If you put it in your GPS, put corner of Baldwick and Noblestown. I'm making it as easy as I
you
possibly
sound like Doc
can.
now. That's what he
Okay.
always said, right?
Yeah. Make it easy. Come on down. But if you can't, give us a call.
Yeah, we got free parking in the front, the back, and then the car wash. You can come in. We can talk to any of us. You can jump in with an appointment with Dr. Ashley. If you can't make it today, you got one more shot at this tomorrow.
One more shot. 8
We'll
to
be
5.
here at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on a Saturday. So we're here to help you. We got free testing tomorrow. And one more time, what's going on tomorrow at noon in the bar?
We're doing the healthy no-bake Christmas cookies. Well, it's kind of a Christmas
not a
cookie.
Christmas
Every- we're-
cookie.
it's
Oh,
gonna
Every
be-
cookie from here on out's a
boy.
Christmas cookie.
Yeah, it's
Look
okay.
out. Standing room
The
only
holidays,
tomorrow.
so-
Don't worry about it. It's going to be standing room only.
Well,
Okay.
come on down, folks. Give us a call. Come on down. We'll be here till 5 today and tomorrow. We're here to help you. We also have, we didn't even mention, Andrea doing the chair massage
Yep.
right here in the
She's
lobby.
over there. Yep.
So we'll get some people in there in a few minutes, but she has availability today also. Thanks so much, Philly Phil. Great job on the board. Thanks to all the supporters out there. Have a great day. We'll see you soon, and God
See you guys.
bless.